Hey, all right. So let's talk about my trip from VA to LA. My uncle and I um, trekked across the country August 27th through August 30th. Now, I told my uncle that I was really serious about a year out, and so he was going back and forth if he would be able to make the trip with me. And then finally, he was able to make the trip with me. So let's talk about that day. So the day that I was moving, I really wasn't that ready to move. I had moved some things to storage and I had a few things like packed, but not a lot because I was recording my educational series. Because before I left, and I'm one of those people that I like to just tie up loose ends. And so before I left, I was pushing myself because what I really wanted to do was have all of my podcast episodes edited and out, or at least prepared to do that. Have record all of my web series, my educator and student one, which was 75 episodes. And I wanted to have all that done. And so the morning that I left, I was still recording for my student series. I already recorded the educator series, which I think I shared in another video that I'm actually redoing. But so the morning I'm leaving, I'm like, let me get a few videos in. And then we packed up the car on the 27th. So we left. All right, it is official. I am moving to LA, driving now with my favorite uncle. Say hey. Ooh, say hey, James.
Peace. Out of here.
Yes, we are headed to LA to follow my dreams. Stay tuned. No, we ended up leaving probably about 10:30, 11, which I wanted us to leave earlier, but I was recording. And I just was feeling very anxious, excited, ready, but what would LA have to offer? So we get on the road, and our plan, which in the planning, I also not only got the Airbnb, which we stayed in Inglewood, but also I got through AT&T, or no, through AAA TripAdvisor, I devised a trip thinking about where we would stop because we wanted to take I-40. It's classic interstate, and it's the one that would just keep us, it would give us a straight shot across the country. So to get I-40 though, from Virginia Beach, we had to go up to Charlottesville. Yeah, this is beautiful. It ain't more beautiful than LA though, but it's beautiful.
I'm trying to tell you.
We drove for about 4 hours and then we stopped. All right, so we are at Burger King in Stanton, Virginia. We have about 7 hours to go. I am still driving, and I will be switching off in Tennessee. And then we drove. Stop number 2. We are in Bristow, Virginia. And we have about 4 hours and some change left. And so we made 4 stops. We slept in 4 places over, it was about a 46-hour drive. And so the first day we drove all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. And let me tell you about the drive. So I am not the greatest driver. I'm not the worst, but I'm not the greatest. And so I drove for probably about 5 or 6 hours, and then we switched.
Oh, that's the line there.
It's coming up.
Oh, that one.
That's the Welcome Center, but the line is, we about to see Welcome Tennessee right there. Maybe that was. Oh yeah, Tennessee welcomes you. Woo! Tennessee. Drove for, because the first day we were driving 12 or 14 hours. So he drove another 5-6 hours, and then it got dark, and then I took over. And this is what I'll say about the drive. It was rainy at first, which was a little stressful. But I did a few things to make us feel comfortable. We both love hip hop, but he loves older school hip hop. So I got a great playlist on Tidal so we could listen to hip hop all the way through. For comfort, we also had cushioned seat covers, as well as a portable air pump for the tire, as well as a portable battery recharger, kind of like what they have for AAA. But I'll say this. In Tennessee, one thing I noticed, so we get to Virginia, fine. One thing I noticed, well, we noticed when we get to Tennessee is that there are a lot of cars just on the side of the road. So we're like, what is this? And then when Unc drove, it was fine. We were driving through some mountains, but there were a lot of trees, and so it was beautiful. But then at night, there was a lot of dew. And then it was foggy. And at one point when we switched over and I was driving, and I really don't like driving at night, and that was like poor planning on my behalf. But I was getting scared. And so I had to like do deep breathing to just pay attention. I was tired. And I think the fear for me was like there were just so many cars on the side of the road. It just made me feel like Jeepers Creepers. And so I was fearful that the car would break down, even though the car was fine. I had already got the car detailed. I had gone to my mechanic. Everything was good, but it was just a new experience. But I had Unc with me, so there was a lot of safety with him being there. So we're driving through Tennessee, and then we get to one point in a mountainous area, and Unc is like, "Oh my gosh, this looks so scary. Look, the moon looks like it's right in front of us." I was like, Unc, please don't do that. And then we make it to Nashville. And Nashville was cool. We spent the night at a Residence Inn. And because I'm a Marriott Rewards member, all of our stay was at Marriott's. And so we stayed at a Residence Inn. Good morning, good morning. It is 6:55 Central Time. We are in the lovely Nashville. We did a makeshift 2-bedroom suite. We're going to OKC today. Very excited about that. The drive through Tennessee was a lot. There are a lot of hills, windy roads, kind of ominous at night. But glad we made it through. I will see y'all in a little bit. Good morning, good morning. It is 7:41 and we are getting on the road. Say good morning, Unc.
Hey, good morning.
We are leaving you from Nashville. See you later. So yeah, as we drove through Tennessee, the other thing we noticed in Tennessee was that there were people walking on the side of the highway. Never seen that before in my life. And the whole time we're just seeing different terrain. So we go from like mountainous and a lot of trees. Yeah, so then we go to Nashville, we drive through Memphis, we drive through Arkansas.
Mississippi River. Welcome to Arkansas.
And then we switched in Oklahoma. And then we stopped in Oklahoma City. OKC. Now, Oklahoma City, I'm missing a couple press-on nails, but I'm gonna say this. Oklahoma City will always have a place in my heart. We get to the Residence Inn at Oklahoma City, and we are tired. This is another, long drive. And the person who works at the Marriott, he says to me he's like helping someone else. And then he says to me, when it's my turn, I'm going to get you the best room. Now, why that is special for me is that here my uncle has uprooted his entire life to follow me to LA, to follow my dreams. All I knew when I wanted to come here was that I wanted to go to the Television Academy events because they have a summer and winter, like a summer event and a winter event for networking. I knew the studios were here. I did have a job. It was remote. But ultimately, we are coming here for my dreams, for me to network and build community to create movies and television. A hope and a prayer, basically. Yeah. So throughout this trip, though, there are like all of these beautiful moments of joy that we're having. My uncle and I are getting to know each other more. I'm asking all these questions, and it just was beautiful. So anyway, so we get to Oklahoma City, and we're in downtown Oklahoma City, and the front desk person says, "I'm going to get you the best room." Y'all, I was about to burst into tears. Because at this point, we're halfway. It's no turning back. I have a plan. Yeah. But to actually do the thing, like, we can say we dream, we can hope we dream, but it was just like, are we really doing this? Am I really sure? So the guy says, "I'm going to give you the best room in the hotel." And so we end up getting a 2-room suite with a blessing rate, we'll say that. The person was so nice that I actually sent him an edible arrangement the next day. Yeah, I needed that confirmation. The whole idea of we were just ushered in and like whatever you need, it just was beautiful. So then we ate, slept, got up. Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 29th. We are leaving OKC. Say good morning.
Good morning.
We're day 3 of our 4-leg drive. We are more than halfway there. LA, here we come. We went to, let's see, Texas. This is Texas. So we drove through Oklahoma. We are in Oklahoma. Drove through Texas. Now Texas, now I'll say with like Oklahoma and Arkansas, those just were like regular roads. We are in Oklahoma. All these turbines, wind turbines, and they're huge. And I was like, because I'm also slightly a conspiracy theorist. I was like, you think these are for aliens? And they were just wind turbines, probably for power. So we go through Texas. Welcome to Texas. It's pretty flat. This is Texas. This was funny. So we stopped at a gas station. This is a coffee lover's dream. Look at that. We are in Groom, Texas for some gas. Probably every, my car is really good on gas. It's about 400 miles to the gallon. So every time we got to the halfway mark, we just added more gas. And we see this gas station has chicken wings, right? And the chicken wings have like a red tint to it, but we don't think anything of it. Y'all, when I tell you those chicken wings were so spicy, I've never in my life had such spicy chicken wings. Okay, so this place right here, let me show y'all. Let me zoom up. Cooper's Express. Now, let me tell y'all, it was good, but that chicken was spicy. So
You got peas, right?
Chicken tenders. I mean, they hit the bottom of our stomachs. So immediately, I think I had already gotten ginger ale. I'm drinking a ginger ale because we're on the road and we are making stops. But I don't know about you, but I don't like to do number 2 in a public place. TMI, no. And so I'm like, oh my God, please. Like, I'm talking about the chicken was so spicy and it was like a latent spice, right? So it was like, oh, this is a little spicy. Like, oh, and then you're just like sitting and it's like, oh my gosh, this is spicy. And it just felt like, of course I'm exaggerating, but as it was going through the digestive tract, it just got more and more spicy. I was like, oh my gosh. So that was like funny. That was the funny part of our story. Almost leaving Texas. This looks like the Pride Rock from Lion King. I'm also nervous the 3rd day because I know that we're going to start getting by mountains. And I told y'all, driving to me is not my strongest suit. I can write. Driving, I can drive, but I can write right. And if I drove as well as I wrote, I'll be a beast on the road. So as we're getting to, so Texas is fine. Then we start getting to New Mexico.
Nothing out here so far.
Is there a restaurant? Okay. It's like, I'll say Texas is more like flat prairie land. Really, a lot of the drive was flat until we start getting into New Mexico. We stop in Gallup, New Mexico. Look at that. Beautiful. This time they didn't have a residence inn. I think we stayed at Spring Hill. So we ended up just getting 2 rooms. And one thing that was good about this trip, because we left so early that day, we were able to make it to Gallup. So every day, I will say this, every day we were on the road less and less. And then by the 3rd day, because it's probably about 11 hours. And so we were able to really get in before it was dark and really like get dinner and just rest. And so that was great. New Mexico scenery is amazing. A lot of the scenery is amazing. It was great to be able to see. And when we got to New Mexico, it was very desert-like, and I didn't know what to expect. And so, because we go from so much green, fertile land and soil, not soil, but fertile land, to it being like dry and desertous. And then the other thing we noticed on the road, there were so many FedEx trucks driving, and they were just bobbing and weaving. And I was like, oh, this is stressful. So a large part of the trip was like fun, but like I was on edge, lots of prayers. So we get to Gallup, New Mexico. The people, again, are amazing. All of the hotel staff were just amazing and kind. And so then we get up. This was our view this morning. Good morning, good morning. We are leaving Gallup, New Mexico to go to California. Say good morning, Unc.
Good morning. Ready to roll.
Yes, he been up since 5-something. I won't up since 5-something, but we are ready. Look at our view. Beautiful. All right. At this point, there is definitely no turning back, and we're closer than what we started. But this is going to be I knew in my mind, this was going to be the toughest part of the drive, because this is where we encountered the mountains. We had some mountainous areas, but this is where I knew that we would encounter the highest elevation. And in Virginia, we're at sea level or below sea level. We don't really do high altitudes. So I'm realizing, though, we are closer than we started. And I know that if I can just make it to LA, that doors will open. I have to just be here. And so the whole time, this last part of the trip, Unc and I are just talking about like, what is this major feat we're doing? Can't believe we're just making it across the country. We did the thing, new beginnings, a fresh start. Just like, oh, this is it. This is what we came here for. Anytime we were getting tired, it was like, we're so close. We're so close. We're so close. So we're driving through New Mexico to, let me see, Arizona. Okay, we're good. Yo, there was so many mountains. The altitude was so high. I was starting to get shortness of breath. I was getting a headache. We were just so high up. Then we didn't see a lot of gas stations, and it was like, oh my gosh. And there was one point of the trip where we dipped below half a tank. And I was like, we need to get gas. Well, there was a stretch of Arizona where, like, the whole time they're like love gas stations. There are these different gas stations. Well, there was a point in the trip where it was a longer stretch. Praying, God, we cannot break down on the side of the road. It's too far. I don't even know where to tell AAA to come give us gas. I was like, what? But we made it. It was like all of those harrowing moments where it's like, oh, are we going to run out of gas? We don't run out of gas. Oh, is this thing going to happen? It doesn't happen. And we're getting through the mountains. We're getting through the mountains. And then we get through a little bit into Arizona. And I tell Unc, I'm tired. And Unc, can you drive the last bit of the way? And Unc drove at least 8 hours the last day. And he drove a lot the other days. And I'm so grateful. So grateful for him. I was just so tired. And it just felt so big that we were really coming to LA. But even with that, there was some self-doubt and some self-worth issues. Was I worth it to be here? Were my dreams worth it for us to uproot our life? Would LA be what I hoped it would be? A promised land of sorts. And before I got here, a lot of people told me how bad it was here, how, rough it is, how superficial it was. And just in my heart, I had done the work. I had done therapy. I had done yoga. I had just spent so much time healing. And of course I healed more since I've been here. But I'd done the work, and it was like, I owe this to myself to do this. Even if it's just for a year, I gotta do this. And so Unc takes over.
California.
Woo!
California.
We get to the Mojave Desert. It is 109 degrees in the car. It is so hot that we are smelling gasoline. I said, Unc, are we going to pull over? He said, no, there's no indicator lights on. We're going to keep moving. I'm saying that I bring this up to say, bear with me. There's sometimes when we're going through the hardest part of our life to get, when we're having those threshold moments, when we're thinking about, and I love a hero's journey, when we're thinking about these ordeals that we have to go through to break through, to get to the other side, it's not going to be easy. We're talking about over 100 degrees in the car, smelling gas. It was so hot that there were full tire treads. And I'm just praying like, God, please don't let that be us. Please be with the people that happened to, but please don't let that be us. So we're driving through. We're also listening to Nipsey Hussle because we're in California at this point. And I didn't realize how long, like once you get into California from Arizona, it's still a long drive. And so we're just driving. We get through the Mojave Desert. And then we just keep driving. We drive through the mountains. Now the mountains are steep and the speed limit is 55. I am terrified, y'all. Like, I sweat through my clothes because I said, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And even though Unc wasn't, actually there were some parts that were 65, and even though Unc was going below the speed limit, if we weren't going 25, it was too fast for me. I was gripping the, what is that? Like where you can hang up your clothes in the car. So I'm gripping that. Like, that thing is sturdy because I'm like gripping it. Like, I could have pulled it out the car. And I'm just praying, God keep us, God keep us. And we get through the mountains. And we get to the other side, and then we get to Inglewood. And that Airbnb was everything that I needed it to be to land here. It was what I needed. That was a trip. For the first like month I was here, every time I would ask about the journey, I would just bring tears to my eyes. To have so many people support you and believe that you can do the thing that you know is a part of your purpose. It is beautiful.